Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Fingerstylish. Episode 4 today is Good Dog by Stephen Bennett. Fingerstylish, of course, is a YouTube series that focuses on historically important fingerstyle techniques to help you become a better fingerstyle guitar player. And today is a very, very interesting episode. We're in standard tuning today. So Good Dog is a very open, airy, harmonic-driven guitar piece by Stephen Bennett. One of my favorites, and let's jump into it and see exactly what we're getting ourselves into today. Pretty cool little guitar piece here, and all in standard tuning, if you can believe that. So let's jump right into what's happening here. So we've got essentially two different parts that we are going to learn separately and then, of course, weave together to make the song complete. First part that we need to address is harmonics. Where are they? What are we doing? That sort of thing. So the harmonics are all across the last three strings on the guitar, G, B, and E. So we're starting on the 12th fret, then going to the 7th, and then ending eventually on the 5th fret here. And we're working backwards. We're working our way up the guitar strings, meaning that we're starting on E, and then B string, and then eventually, of course, the G string. So we're going 12, 7, and then 5. So altogether, now this is really important, what we're doing here as far as delicacy is concerned. We don't want to just... I know you probably, if you're trying to get this up to speed, what you might want to do is just, put your finger there and just kind of run across and try to get it as fast as possible. But at the end, the only thing we're hearing is that 5th fret G string harmonic, and that's not what we're here to do. We're here to do the whole thing. And if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right, especially when it comes to Stephen Bennett tunes. 12th fret. Now what I'm doing, I'm kind of curling my my middle finger enough to where I can get in and then get out. Meaning I'm just touching that string there and just touching this one and just touching that one. It's so easy to accidentally touch a string you're not supposed to, and then that airiness, eerie airiness, is gone. So delicacy is the name of the game for this piece. And it is so easy to accidentally touch something you're not supposed to. So it's almost like you're trying to deactivate a bomb. You got to be really careful about what you're touching. So if you get that right, all three of those harmonics are going to ring out and blend together. So now that we've got the harmonics out of the way, we need to talk about the bass line that goes with that. And much like a lot of Stephen Bennett's music, musically and melodically, it's super simple. It's the simplest thing ever, but the execution is what's going to be difficult. He's such an amazing player, and he takes into account that delicacy and those dynamics, and he makes them work so well. But that's because he's so good as far as what his right hand is doing and what his left hand is doing together. So here's the bass line. And then we're going into a couple of different chords after that, but we'll get to that in a second. So now that we understand the two different parts, now we need to work on weaving them together. After this first harmonic comes our first bass note, in this case just an open E. Okay, and then we're going to finish out the rest of the harmonics, and you'll be happy to know that we don't have to do anything else as far as the bass notes are concerned through this 3 harmonic run here. So let me show you what I mean. Right after that last harmonic, that's when we're going to do our next bass note. Now, you'll notice that I'm using my thumb over the top of the neck. This is a common guitar thing. A lot of guitar players do this. But I'll explain to you why I'm doing this. So what I'm doing here is, like I said, it's like a bomb. You want to be super careful not to touch anything. And I can't tell you how easy it is after you do this harmonic run and all 3 of those are ringing out. Fleshy part of your hand, it's so easy to accidentally touch the E string, and then that beautiful airiness has been compromised. So I'll use my thumb to grab this bass note. And it's not like I'm doing some big, you know, thumb chord or anything like that. I'm just getting this one string, this one note, and even following through all the way down. So that bass line again is pretty simple. Okay, so I try to add that all together. So after you play those 3 harmonics, you don't have to mess with those strings for a minute, allowing them to ring out for as long as possible. See, I messed it up there. I think I touched the B string. It's a super pretty song too. It just really, it's unlike any other guitar song. It kind of really brings you in with these harmonics. And so let's recap this real quick. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to deal with 2 chords. So it's an A minor 7 shape. So meaning we've got a regular old A minor, and get rid of that ring finger for that open G. We're going to play the A string, and then the D string, and then our C note here on the B string, and then lift up for that B note. Okay, and C add 9-ish chord. So what we're doing here, we're going to play the A string, open G, followed by our 3rd fret here, pinky on the 3rd fret B string. So those 2 chords together. Okay, so let's add all that together so far. So with a lot of music, especially fingerstyle guitar music, you have question and answer. Now, question and answer, that's a term that I've heard from Michael Hedges. There's a video of him doing like some kind of weird seminar or workshop, and the video quality is awful, but you can hear what he's talking about. The question for this piece would be this first little harmonic run that we did. And then the answer would probably be the bass line. So the answer is the same, but the second question is slightly different from the first, and here's the second question. Okay? So the differences between that: harmonic run 1, aka question 1, then the bass line, da 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 da, question 2. 3 harmonics, but they're in just different spots and played in a different order. The same amount of delicacy is needed for that second set of harmonics. You can just kind of let your finger rest there, but if you really want it to ring out to its full airy potential, you want to have your finger touch and go. Touch and go with harmonics. That's the name of the game here. So the only difference for that second harmonic section is after the bass line, you've got this chord. Stephen Bennett uses a lot of really strange chords, and this is obviously one of them. So another thumb thing, I've got my thumb on the 2nd fret, and then 2nd fret D string, and then 3rd fret G. So what I'm doing there is I'm playing E, D, B, G, and sliding this up to where my middle finger is on the 7th fret, and that's D, G on the 8th fret there, and then E, B. So that whole section, then right back into the harmonics. So let me play through that for you all together. into a different 4-chord section where we're doing some percussive strumming, going from E minor to this chord. So we're going back and forth between 2 notes. Same thing with this chord. So instead of working that on the E string, we're on the D string, going from frets 4 and 5. And then back to that same E minor type section, but this time we're putting a G in the bass and ending it on a D chord with a nice F sharp in the bass. So let me put all that together to show you what it sounds like. Put all this together to show you what it sounds like. Song, regardless of how difficult it will be to play, it's so simple, and that's the frustrating part. It's almost like really frustrating because it's so simple, but it's so hard. And let me show you what I mean. You know, these harmonics, they seem really crazy and foreign, but melodically they could not be simpler. So let's analyze that for a second. So, you know, we've got harmonics here, but they are notes that are being played. So we know that this is E, because if we fret the 12th fret, it's the same note. Now, what is the 7th fret harmonic on the B string? Well, if you don't know, then use the rest of the strings around you to try to figure that out. It's an F sharp. It's an F sharp. So, and of course, you know, whatever harmonic is going to be on the 5th fret and 12th fret, it's the same note that you would. It's the same note that you would actually fret and play. So in this case, 5th fret harmonic G is just a G. So let's think about this for a second. We've got E, F sharp, G. It's really that simple. Now that we know what the notes are, the bass notes are simple as well. It's just E, B, D, G, E, B, D, G. Well, I can do that down here too. It's all outlining an E minor / G major type situation. So I could do the whole thing down here in the first position if I wanted to. The second part's even easier. So you see how simple of a composition this is, but it's just hard because we're really taking full advantage of the guitar's potential by playing it the more complicated way, because you wouldn't be able to make this sound like this on really any other instrument. And that's what I love about the fingerstyle guitar, is that it's all written for the guitar and what the guitar can do. You know, we're not trying to jump out of the capabilities of the guitar, but we are definitely utilizing all the tools that the guitar has to offer. And we can't forget to talk about the variations of the harmonics either. So he doesn't just play that throughout the entire piece. There's actually a couple of different things that he does with the harmonics at certain points in the song. And it's rather a short song too. So let's jump into some of those. So after we've got the bridge or the break of the song, which we didn't talk about, but it goes something like this. Think at this point that he would jump right back into but he takes a different direction. So we're doing harmonics on the 3rd fret. That's really hard to get. You have got to be right on the money, right at the sweet spot on that 3rd fret to get it to ring out. Same formula, bass note after the 1st harmonic. So that's 5th fret B, and then 3rd fret G, and then 5th fret E. Same bass line. And here's a different part. Instead of going up, he goes down. So it's the same thing but backwards. So we're starting at what normally was our last harmonic, 5th fret G, 7th fret B. And again, it's super simple. It's just the same thing backwards. That's a cool little thing right there. So the same chord that we talked about down here, going through the same motions. And we would normally end that on an open B string. But instead of playing the open B string, harmonic B string, 7th fret, then following through with that E minor, G, B, E harmonic. So once again. The last thing that I want to talk about is for the strumming section. And I know it's just a strumming section, but there's a very Stephen Bennett specific thing that he does. Now, as a guitar player that grew up really trying to learn the Andy McKee, Antoine Dufour, Don Rossi style of playing, not so much Don Ross in this aspect, but it's the thumb slaps. It's the percussive thumb slap, mostly on the E string. Sounds like kind of like a hi-hat type thing. It's a rhythmic thing that Andy McKee uses religiously. I mean, and as a result, a lot of fingerstyle players after him have adopted that, and I'm no exception to it. I use it all the time. It's a really interesting percussive tool without, actually doing any percussion on the body of the guitar that allows you to keep that rhythm while still playing. Stephen Bennett doesn't do that. He doesn't do that at all. I don't think he's ever written a piece where he does that, but he's still got that occasional pop. And this is where it gets weird, because he's got a really straight index finger. If you watch videos of him playing the guitar, his index finger is oddly straightish compared to the rest of his fingers. And that always kind of, I don't want to say it bugged me, but it caught my attention. And what he's doing here is what I would like to call the Stephen Bennett pop. So it's not a percussive slap, it's a striking down. And admittedly, I'm having a lot of trouble replicating it because I'm so used to the other side of that spectrum, slapping with the thumb, right? So this little strummy section, this 4-chord strumming section, is a good example of that. So normally I would probably play it like this. But if I was going to try to play it like Stephen would, I would have to cut that out. You can't do the thumb slaps. You have to try to get the pop. And that's really strange in itself because he's just popping the strings. He's coming down with that index finger like... Even then, I couldn't help but occasionally try to throw in that thumb slap. So it's a pop. It's the Stephen Bennett pop. He does that in so many of his songs. So today was a very, very involved episode. We went over so much. Over a song that's not even, I think, 3 minutes long. It's a super short song, but there's so much in so little time. There's so many things that he's doing that really is all the colors and hues that makes Stephen Bennett painted into Stephen Bennett. And it's fun to take some of those colors and try to throw them into your own playing. And I really have learned so much from Stephen Bennett. He's one of my favorites. He needs all of the recognition. He's one of the most important fingerstyle guitar players in the history of this style of guitar playing. And all the heavy hitters, the famous guys, Andy McKee and Don Ross, Antoine Dufour, they will all attest to that he's vital. If you want to become a great fingerstyle player, you need to take notes from Stephen Bennett, because melodically he's one of the best, if not the best ever. And if you're trying to write a song, melody is the most important thing. And like we've learned today, it doesn't have to be complicated to be a great melody. Like it's a single string melody line, and then just a simple E minor triad. So the possibilities are endless with your writing, as long as you can just have a good melody and play it interestingly. You don't have to do it complicated, just make it interesting. So I think that's going to do it today, guys. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this series and for coming back, and I really enjoy all your comments. I'm glad that you're liking this series and getting something out of it. The reason that I'm doing it, honestly, is because I wish I had something like this when I was learning how to play fingerstyle. When I was 15 years old, YouTube was still in its infancy, pretty much, and there were videos on there teaching you how to do things, but for the most part, I just tried to learn it by myself, on my own, by watching, studying and trying to soak in all the things that these guitar players are doing like a sponge, and really trying to emulate it and saying, okay, what am I doing differently? Why is it not sounding like he's making it sound? That sort of thing. I really wish I had this kind of thing when I was a kid, learning how to play, and I hope that it's helping you. I really hope that you're learning from it. So again, thank you guys so much, and be sure to like and subscribe. I've got new episodes of Fingerstylish coming out all the time, as well as some performance videos of my own tunes. I've got some cover tunes coming out. I've got a lot of videos covering the harp guitar. Episode 4 of Fingerstylish, we've got 3 more episodes that you can check out. The first one is a song by Don Ross. The second one is Leo Kottke. The third one's Michael Hedges. And now, of course, we are on to Stephen Bennett with episode 4. So what's next? Let me know in the comments section below. Tell me who we should cover next. Who is one of the most important fingerstyle guitar players whose music that we need to analyze and figure out together? Let me know. Thank you guys very much for subscribing, and I will see you at the next video. Bye-bye.